Welcome, a new Health Solutions family. It has been tax time, and I know everyone has their money and they're ready to spend it. So today we're going to talk about some ways and some strategies that you can use to have the financial freedom that you want. I have a special guest today, Lolita Roseboro, who's going to provide you some tips and some resources that you can use to get the financial freedom that you need and that you want. So let's get started. Welcome, a new Health Solutions family. So we're going to talk a little bit about get your money right. And today I have a special guest, Lolita Roseboro. Hello. And so what we're just going to talk a little bit about is being financially fit, because that is something that is very important. And a lot of times people say they want to, get their financial goals, and people have financial goals. So we're just going to talk a little bit about that today. So Lolita, just tell me a little bit about what does it mean to be financially fit?
Being financially fit means basically just being responsible for your finances, being accountable, being a good steward of what God has blessed you with at this point. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 21:20 says, the wise have wealth and luxury, but fools spend their money when they get it, as soon as they get it. And, that's kind of what we do a lot of times is when we're not prepared, we just go out and we spend just because you have it. You don't really have a plan for your money. So therefore, you're just spending it. And the Bible is calling it foolish. Not me, not Lolita, right, not Dr. Harris, but the Word of God says that it's foolish to just randomly spend your money like that.
So I know, just being your friend over the years that you have just been very passionate, and we've had our interaction before about, finances, and we'll share that story a little later on. But what made you, so passionate, and give us a little background as far as what you do and, about finances and things of that nature.
Well, currently I'm a accountant, the general accountant at the city here. And, my major was in accounting. I'm currently going after my CPA. What made me so passionate about it is the simple fact that I really didn't have another choice. I grew up with a single mom. Myself, I was a single mom. And as a single mother, you may or may not have all the resources that you need to do what you need to do for your child, yourself and your child. I found that as a single mother, I was unable to qualify for assistance. So it's almost like you make too much, but you don't make enough.
Right.
So therefore you're out, where other folks are getting WIC and, assistance and everything else, just because I felt as though because I went to school, tried to do something better with my life, I end up having this child, but yet, I don't make the salary that will afford us a life where I can just handle everything on my own. However, I was unable to qualify for any benefits. So I'm trying to pay rent, car note, student loans, car insurance, buying formula, buying Pampers, and it just wasn't enough. So, you had to be wise and you had to find ways to cut costs and save money, and that's the way I was brought up. My mom taught me that it was always you go in the grocery store, she send you in for a jar of mayonnaise, and you come out with the one that was for $1 because you thought you got the cheapest one, and she's just like, well, how much did it cost per ounce? Well, if you could have gotten 46 ounces for $1.09, why did you buy 12 ounces for $1.09? So I learned early on, you had to how much did it cost per ounce, do all the math, count your change back, and all of that. So it was just inbred in me.
Okay. So you talked a little bit about, with you being a single mom, what did you have to do? Because there are a lot of single mothers that out here now, and you have a little mission you have done as well, with mother to daughter, and trying to minister to them, that knowing that they can make it. And there are a lot of single mothers out here who are struggling financially because, like you said, they don't have the help. They don't not able to get, food stamps or assistance. So what were some of the things, just to be able to help people who are single mothers who are out here, dealing with financial struggles and trying to make it? What are some tips that you can give them, or some insights, some advice that you can give them?
The number one thing I would say is you got to have a relationship with God. You've got to develop that relationship, because I promise you, there will be many nights, many days of prayer. God, what am I going to do? How am I going to keep these lights on? So you have to just seek God. I remember there were times when I wanted to tithe, and I was like, okay, I'm going to tithe, and I'm going to pay my tithes because I know that's what God wants, and I need to do this first. And I would write a check, and my tithe check would bounce.
Wow.
Embarrassing. God knows it was embarrassing, but my heart was in the right place. And at the moment when I wrote the check, the money was there. However, I wasn't being a steward in the sense of, I was more kind of freestyling with my money. It was like, okay, I need to pay my tithes, pay the tithes, got to pay the rent, pay the rent. This is due. Okay, my baby got sick, so I don't have Medicaid, so I got to go to the doctor. And now I got to get this formula. So what do I do? How do I juggle? And it was almost like robbing Peter to pay Paul, but I was just in over my head. A part of that was a result of not having good credit. So when I got a car, I got this high interest rate loans, 23% interest on the car. So I got this high car payment and everything. But I was just adamant that I was going to raise my daughter. I didn't want anybody to say that my family had to raise her, or someone else took the responsibility that was mine. So I made the choices to get me there. I was going to make the choices to get out. So I would say, beyond praying, you really need to have a realistic budget. You can budget and plan it out on paper, but if it's not really realistic to you, you probably won't be successful. So there'll be a lot of trial and error in trying to come up with what is the right budget, but you also have to learn to be content and live within your means. That's the biggest thing.
And one thing that you said that really stuck out with me is being a good steward. Tell us a little bit about when you're saying being a good steward over the money that you have, because you said, that you had the high, car payment. A lot of times people have, they say, well, I'm going to get this car. I need this car. But then you end up paying more in the long run because you have this high interest rate. And then some people get in 6-year loans, and they don't realize that once you drive the car off the lot, okay, well, that car has already depreciated, so if you try to take that car back the next day, it's not going to be worth what you paid for. So you end up paying a whole lot more. So when you talk about being a good steward, and I know when you talk about cars, I had my car, and share this little story with you all. I had my car, and I loved my old car that I had, and it was, so I just love that little Alero. I had an Oldsmobile Alero. That was the first car that I had paid for, so then I got a new car. And when I had to give that baby up, I was talking to Lolita, and I was like, well, I might just need to get, another car, knock around in. And when I tell you all, she went in on me. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, well then I guess I won't do that, because it made me realize that I'm adding on another bill, as I talked about before in my previous episode, of knowing what your needs are and what your wants. And I really did not need that car, but it was so much that I wanted it that I was thinking that I needed it.
Right.
And so I tried to rationalize in my mind, okay, I need to have this. when it was actually a want.
Right.
And when you talk about being a good steward, I realized that I would have been adding on more unnecessary bills. I would have been adding in another oil change that I would have had to get, another car repair that I had to get done. And it was something that was not needed. And then instead of being able to save that money, I would have been putting that money into another car that's going to depreciate. I probably wouldn't want in another 5 to 10 years. So when you say being a good steward, what are you talking about when you say expound on that a little bit more about being a good steward?
Okay. Being a good steward is basically God has blessed you with a job, whatever income, whatever finances and resources that you currently have. Now, he's blessed you with that, and now it's your job to manage what he's given you. So you're not really managing your funds, you're managing God's funds. Mm-hmm. And even going back to the example that you just gave with the car, with that Alero, it was an emotional attachment. Mm-hmm. You were emotionally attached to this first car that you loved that died and had us pushing the car into the parking lot, cutting off, and I'm trying to push the car, and she's trying to steer. So, yeah, it was time to let it go. It had died, but, Dr. Harris wanted to pour more money into this car because she was emotionally attached. So we were financing her, well, she was financing her emotions and not a necessity. So in that sense, it's like, what are the things that you are just simply emotionally attached to versus the things that are really and truly a necessity? Like, as a single mom, you may be emotionally attached to going to get your nails done and going to get your hair done and pedicures and all this stuff because you feel as though I'm a single mom, I'm stressed out, I need these things, I got to do something for me. All these things are correct. But you can do all those things in reason. So, for example, if you're short on paying your mortgage and your rent, or, making sure your child has shoes that fit and everything that she needs, and there's food in your house for your children, and your car, you have reliable transportation, gas for the week, your kids need lunch money. If all those things are taken care of and you've paid your tithes and your bills are good and you got a little money saved, okay, then it's okay to go get your nails done. But if you don't have all of that, then some things you just have to let go. And I don't care how much therapy you think getting your nails done is helping you. If it's hurting you in the long run, where it's taken away from you doing something that you're supposed to be doing, then that's an emotional attachment, and that's something that you need to reevaluate.
Right. And so you talk about being emotional, because I know that I'm an emotional shopper, and I'm a shoe fanatic. I'm gonna get I'll buy some shoes in a minute. But I had to learn, and I notice too sometimes around springtime when it gets a little warm, I'm like, oh gosh, I need to get these sandals, I need to get these. But like you said, being an emotional shopper and watching, your spending habits. So what are some other spending habits that you may have seen with people? Or that you may have experienced, or you may have, dealing with people who are helping their finances and things of that nature?
I've gotten, I guess, maybe like 2 or 3 categories where you got that friend that's always like, well, you know what? I'm always going to have bills. I don't have enough to pay all of them anyway. So I may as well go on to the beach and have a vacation because I'm stressed out. I work all the time. I never get a vacation. So we're going to go ahead and have this vacation and enjoy ourselves, and we'll just deal with it when it happens. We'll handle it when it comes. But for now, I need this. I deserve this. And they'll just go and take a vacation, and they have bills that they can't even afford to pay. So how can you afford to go on a vacation? And then you get to the vacation, you're going to eat, you're going to splurge. So when you come back, you're really going to be stressed. So that vacation is just going to be, the effects of that are going to be non-existent. There's not going to be any benefits at the end of that. Then you have people like I was, where I just kind of I had good intentions, but I would freestyle at the beginning, like, okay, I'm going to pay this and I'm going to pay that, but I never wrote it on paper. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, well, I wasn't able to prioritize what should have been paid first, second, third, and then we kind of work out arrangements for the rest if I was in a situation where there wasn't enough, or see what can I do to cut back and what can I cut out. It wasn't really a lot that I could have cut out, but it was just a way of how do I manage it and what comes first and prioritizing the bills that I had. And then you have those that are like, well, I'll just pay it and go with it, or those that are in a situation where it's not enough and you just only paying bills. But they may say, well, I know I make enough. I pay my rent. You call me, hey girl, what you doing? You want to go out to eat? We go out to eat. We stop by a store. I see something. It's on sale. So since it's on sale, that was a good deal. You go ahead and buy it. Then you come back and then you get that message, oh, your phone bill is due. So you go ahead and pay that. Then you go do something else. And then by the time you get to another bill, you're out of money. And you never made a decision to pay your bills first. You just kind of freestyle. And then, that's the person that comes up to you, be like, you think I can hold a couple dollars to Friday when I get paid? So you got that person. So, and then you have some that they pay their bills, they're good, they pay their bills up front. And after that, they just throw it away. Whatever you want to do, wherever they want to go. And they never save, they never tithe. And their logic is, well, you can't take it with you. Right. So you may as well enjoy it while you're here. Right. So I think those are some of the most common mindsets of people that are not being a good steward.
Right. Okay, so then we're going to switch to, because now, you're married. How long have you been married?
Ooh, a whole 4 years.
4 years. Hey! So that's hope. Hey. That's hope, lady. I was there. There's hope. There is hope. So you transitioned from, we talked about being a single mother. Mm-hmm. So you transitioned to combining your finances. So we don't want to leave the married couples out and those who, are thinking about getting married or engaged at that point. So how was that process of, combining, finances and coming together? How was that process?
For us, it was fairly easy. Mm-hmm. We both were single for a long time. I didn't get married until 38. So
there's hope, lady.
There's hope. You're not 38. Pay your dues. Come back. Talk to me. But when we came together, we're two full-grown adults coming together, and we're both kind of set in our own ways and have our own ways of doing things. And for us to, have to ask permission and do all of this to see, for anything I want to do, for me, I'm a very strong-minded person. So I'm kind of like, I work all day, every day. I get up and go. So if there's something that I want to do, whether I've earned the money to do, I want to have the right to do that. So for us, we have one account where we combine all of our household bills. So everything, mortgage, rent, cars, whatever, all of our bills are paid out of this one account. And so we've, decided how much we both would contribute to that account each pay period. We do that. And then the rest, whatever's left over, we put that in our own separate account. So he has his separate account. So basically there's 3 accounts that we're working with. My personal account, his personal account, and our joint account. And so we pay all of our bills, and we actually account for vacations. So we actually put a little extra in there, more than just the bills. And then it's on payroll, deposit, direct deposit. So there, when we have those extra pay periods are just, we're not paying bills on that pay period. So that's just extra income that's sitting there. So when we do want to take a vacation, or when we do have, unexpected expenses, we have that cushion there. So, and then we both still have our own freedom to do and whatever we want to do on our own without having to kind of ask each other for permission to do, just simple everyday things. Or if you want to buy me a little special something, ask me and spoil the surprise.
Right. And then I think it's important that you all had the communication about it as well. And, one thing that is one of the top reasons for divorce is due to financial reasons. So having that conversation and developing a plan would be very important as well. So just give us some tips that you would like to share with us on if we want to get our money right.
Okay. Well, if you want to get your money right, I would suggest that you first align with the Word of God. And, that's paying your tithe. I'm a firm believer in being a tither. And kind of a simple formula for that is 10-10-80. There's a rule that I go by. So 10% for your tithe, 10% for savings, and live off the remaining 80%. And with that 80%, you want to develop a realistic budget that will, allocate all of those funds out, and you spend it first on paper, and you make sure that everything is covered. And if you are in a situation where you can't really do 10-10-80, you might want to do 10-90 and work on a plan to kind of pay off those bills so that you can have a little cushion there where you can begin to save. Most importantly, even if you have enough where you're saving or where you can pay all of your bills and you have some to save, you also want to be able to be a blessing. So sow seeds, bless people if you can. Also, you want to, just because you have it doesn't mean you have to spend it.
Right.
Just because I can doesn't mean I should. So if you can get those shoes and you can wait 2 weeks or wait right to the beginning of that next season and they're going to be 75% off, why not wait? If you can go to a discount store or Ross or TJ Maxx or Marshalls or something like that and get it at a discount, why not go there? Why pay, the original prices when you can have sale prices? I'm a coupon queen.
Right.
So why not use coupons? I see people, they're like, oh, it's a coupon, and they just throw it away. But you're essentially just throwing money away. So it just comes being wise and using the resources and the discounts and coupons and everything that's available to you so that you can be a good steward of what God has for you.
And one thing that I do too, I shop out of season.
Yes.
I shop. If I see something that I want and if I can get it, most of the time it's like 70% off or whatever. I feel like I'm like a kid in a candy store because I always, buy out of season, and you can always get a good outfit and you can make it for the person who says they like clothes, get something and you can always fix that outfit up to make it for yourself. I have one outfit and one dress, and I wore it last Sunday, and my mom was like, okay, what you got going on? I made a whole different outfit because I added a belt, I added some different accessories. Yeah. Yeah. I put another little top over the full dress, like you wouldn't even have known. Right. So I always have pieces that I'm able to put, with it. And you also talked a little bit about writing down, because a lot of times you said people freestyle. So talk a little bit about, how you can write down and developing that plan.
Well, the first thing I would suggest is to basically track all of your spending for 1 month. So this will allow you to really see where your money's going. So you really don't know. I did this, and I'm embarrassed to say, but I ate all of my money. And you would be surprised the amount of money that you spend on fast food. And you're thinking, oh, it's only $2 here, $3 here, $5 here. But over the course of a month, it all adds up. And if I was doing it and then my husband was doing it,
Right.
you know, that's times two. So once you really track it, it will become real and you can see real numbers, and it's not an estimation in your head, which you will always underestimate. I spend about, you know, maybe $50, but that $50 in reality is you were spending $200. So track your spending. There are apps that you can download to track your spending. You can go old school and get a receipt for everything, or you can log it in a little booklet. And but the main thing is just to see how much you're spending throughout the month. After that, I would suggest you then take that and develop a plan where you know all of your necessities. You got to pay your mortgage. You got to pay your insurance. You got to pay your utilities. You got to pay, you know, your car note and, you know, anything like that. Stuff for school, activities, and all those things that are necessities. And then after that, you would then kind of just go through and put down all of your bills, your debt. And then you want to create a plan where if there's money left over, you want to put that money that's left over onto one of those bills that you have and begin to pay the bills off, and then pay the bills off. And if you get one bill paid off, it's kind of referred to as a snowball effect, where if I'm paying $10 on one bill, I pay $10, $10. I get some more money, I put it on that bill. Eventually, once I pay that bill off, I'll take that $10 plus the next bill's payment and add a bigger impact. And so that's just a cycle that you'll continue to do until you can get some of those debts paid off.
And one thing that I learned to do was to have a meeting with my money. My money and I have a meeting.
Yes.
And I set myself time. Okay, well, you got this amount of money. So if it's out, it's out.
Right.
You're done.
Right.
And I took that extra money and I paid a bill. Like, you know, now I may have a little extra money now, so I'm paying like $50 extra a month on my mortgage to kind of get that down.
Yes.
Or I'm going to save that money. But whatever you have is what you have.
But if I know that I only have $40 to spend this week for knickknacks or whatever, if I have $40 cash, when that envelope for $40 is empty, then it's over. No more, I can't stop at the store. I'm going to have to go on to the house and get something to drink. But operating with cash, you can create your own envelope system where you kind of label each category. This is for this, you know, this is for entertainment. This is for food. This is for gas. And if your envelope for gas is out, then you might not need to be riding out and going here and doing all of this. You need to go to work and come back to the house this week. So, you know, just begin to plan. Plan it out on paper and spend all of your money on paper first. And then begin to just work your plan. And when you plan to fail, you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Oh, I know that's right.
Yeah, and that's not where you want to be. So it's doable. And like you said, when you begin that snowball effect, you'll just begin to build momentum. So right now, I've kind of, no more credit cards for me, no more car payment for me. So right now, I'm trying to knock a dent in my mortgage. So that's kind of my game plan at this moment. Because I'm with you. We're going to be debt-free together.
That's right.
We're going to be debt-free.
I know that's right. I know that is right. And you all are going to get there too.
Yes, you will.
So is there any way that someone can contact you if they have any questions or anything?
Yes, you can reach out to me at lolitafinance@gmail.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lolita. I really enjoyed, and I hope you all were able to get some tips on today. A New Health Solutions family, like I said, this is 2018. It's time to get it, and we're going to get our money right. And I hope you all were able to take away some things, and I hope to see you all soon. Like I said, when you can begin today to begin anew. We'll see you all soon. Have a great day.
Bye.